Hey, what's going on, guys? So today we're talking about the best-selling cards under $5 or less. I was working for most of the day again today, so I'm trying to just post it late at night today, seeing what you guys like better, early in the morning on Monday or early. And obviously, early mornings on Sundays is when I'm going to be posting these on most occasions. Just wanted to try something different as late on Sunday, so let me know in the comments down below which gun you guys prefer. But let's just hop right into it with the first card from Battles of Legends, Crystal's Revenge. And shuffle the one hero or Neo Space and monster you control if you use special summon. Okay. Is this any? It does appear to be any. So that's interesting. You can banish this card from your graveyard, shuffle this to hero Neos. Okay, so let me read. Okay, in either one elemental hero monster and Neospatian or elemental hero monster, then draw one card. Okay. So it's kind of a hero lives without the cost, right? Unless I'm misreading this. So that's not that bad. I mean, it's not like that good, but it's not that bad either. I don't know. I don't really play this deck like that. So if you guys, let me know in the comments down below if you're a hero player. Like, I would assume whatever hero Neospatian that deck looks like right now. Like, I know what that deck looks like on Duel Links. I don't know what it really looks like in the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG. If you guys, I'm sure you're running this card. If you're not, let me know in those comments down below. But as far as whether or not this is a good card to buy, sitting at about $4. It just seeped under the $5 mark. It's probably gonna go down a little bit more soon. So I don't think you have to worry about that just quite yet. I don't think it's really hit its valley. Right, I don't think we're gonna look at it in like a week and it's gonna be like 450 or something like that. And it might, I guess, is not out of the realm of possibility, but I don't think it's that good of enough of a card. Hero is just in a really bad spot as far as the meta is concerned, so it's really just more the casual player base. And it's not like a lot of times, the casual player base can really get cards going to be very expensive, but this isn't really the greatest. You have to buy it right now. I think it's the type of situation of like, if you open a box of Battle of Legends Crystal's Revenge, I don't know if I would sell this immediately if I pulled this. If it's that type of thing. Just like sitting on it waiting, because it's not going to get a reprint anytime soon. And hey, there might be some random combo that ends up looking really good. And because it is Heroes, I talk about this just about every week. It's like Heroes, Dark Magician, Blue Eyes. There's a certain list of decks that have a humongous fan base. And so whenever good support, and this is definitely good support for Heroes. I don't know if it's great support, but whenever good support comes out, people always, regardless of like if they're gonna play it or not, like to mess around with it. So not a bad buy. Chaos Space. It's a fantastic. It's not just good in Dragon Link. Like, this is just actually a really good card overall. Fusion Destiny, we talked about this a little bit last week. Especially with the DPE reprint, and it's not that popular of a card right now. I mean, you gotta a lot of the Ishizu, or I think all of the Ishizu cards have the shuffle back effect, which obviously hard counters DPE. Bestial cards are running rampant. Is it possible that Destiny Phoenix Hero Enforcer from like earlier this year in like April, it was the most dominant card by a mile, and literally 8 months later, it's been power crept 100%. It feels like it's possible, but I also think that listen, a free summon. Here's the thing. Let's say you don't get Destiny. Let's see, like what's the worst thing they can really do with Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer? Banish it or shuffle the back. Okay, so you still get the 2,500 body and a free pop. And if you're in a sticky situation, like that's the thing. Like, I'm not recommending this for like Floowandereese or like I don't know, Sprite, right? Or Tier Elements. Tier Elements maybe, but because Tier Elements could shuffle back the materials, so Tier Elements could actually run like multiple DPEs. There's probably not space in the extra deck, obviously, but and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not really talking about like for meta purposes, but like for heroes, you're just talking about heroes. Just like, I mean, obviously, actually, this is a hero card. So that wasn't the greatest example. But like, I don't know, Dragon Link. We were just talking about Dragon Link too, or even Sword Soul, Tri Brigade, right? Just like randomly throwing this package in here because when you're playing a rogue deck, your opponent is spending a good majority of the time trying to figure out what your cards do. And obviously decks like Sword Soul, Tri Brigade, Dragon Link, we all know what they do, right? But if you're playing like um Magna Warriors, right? Or Vampires. I think those just got. I think Vampires just got support, right? If you're playing Gravekeepers, right? And you're just doing all these different things, and your opponent's got no idea really what's going on. They're like, "Look, can I see that? Can I see that? Can I see that?" And then you just drop this on them. Now all of a sudden you can apply a pressure in a way that they weren't expecting, right? Even if they're able to easily out the fusion, like the DPE, if that makes sense. And the thing is too, when you're playing Rogue, the Dasher Summon is great, and the Celestial Draw is great. So for a package, like I said, we talked about this last week too. For a package that I'm probably gonna pick some up because I think it's gotten cheaper since we talked about it. I mean, we can literally look at what it looked like. Just last week, it was 237 last week. It's sitting at about 220. It hasn't got like substantially cheaper. It kind of has though. Actually, it kind of has gotten cheaper. Like you could pick up a play set of this for quick math here, 325, right? And obviously when we talk about this card, Destiny, I'm not looking up Destiny Hero, Celestial, Dasher. Those are like, it's like 50 cents and you only need one. I think it's like 50 cents for each of them and you only need one. And you really only need one of this card, and this card's already starting to creep up, and it's because of that reason I was just saying. Like, yes, this card has been actually insanely power crept. Because it's so easy to get this card banished. It's so easy to get this card shuffled back into the extra deck. But for, what did we say, 325, let's say $4 for a playset of Fusion Destiny, Celestial, and Dasher, and then $5 for this. So we're looking at 9, so $10, and you get this really solid package. And I understand it's bricky. I understand another thing too that you need to keep in mind if you are going to go this route and put this in your deck. If you bump into a Shizu and they make you mill, you might mill the Dasher. You might mill the Dasher or the Celestial, which might turn off, right, the Fusion Destiny. But worst case scenario, though, with this package, too, we were literally just talking about this archetype. I mean, this is the number 3 best-selling card for a reason, because it's in this archetype. It's not specifically in Heroes and Neospatian, but it is in, like, the Hero category. Like, Heroes love this card, still. Like, this is still a really broken card in Heroes, so. Worst case scenario, you pick up a playset cheap and sell it 6 months down the road when, it's been a minute since Fusion Destiny's been reprinted, it's been a minute since DPE's been reprinted, different things like that. This is Ash Blossom, this is the time to get this card. It's not really that strong right now, and it just got a huge reprint, common reprint. This is the time to get this card. Now, I mentioned this also last week. I said that there's a possibility that Ash might get power creep because we are creeping in onto that situation. But at the same time frame, to counter the point that I made literally last week, look at the number 7 best-selling card of all time. Like DD Crow has been insanely power crept by the Bestial cards, and it's still really popular because there still are circumstances and instances where you're not facing a light or dark deck and you really need to DD Crow something, right? And all the Ishizu cards, for example, are Earth cards too, right? And the Vernus package is running around actually a lot. It's being splashed in a lot of different decks, right? So DD Crow is a lot older than Ash. It's still relevant. Obviously, it's cheaper, but this is probably a good time to pick up a play set. Just in case. Like I said, looked at the Ash last week, so I don't want to look too deep into it. What's going on with this guy? What's going on with Blackluster Soldier? Okay, so if, and this is a huge if, but if the Magnificent Maven's versions of Blackluster Soldier become as expensive as the other versions of Blacklisted Soldiers, I mean, that's really what penny stocks are all about, right? Like, that's why we do these videos every week. Because it's like, so you're telling me I could go to Bubble Buddies is a fun name. Let's just call this $4. and I can buy 22 copies at $88. I can buy 22 copies at $88 for free shipping because they have free shipping. And then just play the waiting game. And at some point, even if it gets to half of this, even if it gets to half, even if it just gets to $20, you'll have 22 copies of a card that you paid $4 a piece for, right? Spend your money how you feel. I don't think I will be taking this journey with you, right? Um, because it could be a long journey, and you might be sitting. It might be December 4th, 2023, and this is like a $4 card, $5 card still, right? And like you're just sitting there, like, man, I hope. But at the same time, it could be December 4th, 2023, and we're looking at these cards and they're on MCOL 40 or whatever, and there was like a buyout. And he's talking about how these are all $40 now, right? Because the Blacklisted Soldier archetype, similar to Elemental Heroes, um, it's a very nostalgic archetype, and this set just came out too, so this is probably a really good buy. Probably. It's definitely a good buy. It's probably a really good buy, if that all makes sense. Skill Drain doing its thing. I would recommend picking up Skill Drains. It's not like, okay, you have to be the right kind of person to play Skill Drain. Like, if you've ever played under Skill Drain, and if you've played Master Duel, I'm sure you have, it's really just not a good time. Like, you're really just like, okay, let me draw my back row removal, or just summon monster. It's not really a lot of fun, but there are game states and situations where I do enjoy playing under Skill Drain. So there are a lot of cool archetypes to play with Skill Drain. Like, it isn't the most interactive and fun card, but that doesn't make it a bad card. So if you wanted to mess around with it, I understand. Is this turning into like a nostalgic archetype? Wait, what? I was like $17. That doesn't make any sense. I think so. You guys let me know who are the bird up players. Type BU in the comments if you're a bird up player. I don't think when we look back on like the Tri Brigade era, we'll say like this is the best version of Tri Brigade. But I think that like this is the funnest. And Lyricist in and of itself, minus the Tri Brigade, and there's literally no reason not to run the Tri Brigade package, but Lyricist by itself, minus the Tri Brigade, is a lot of fun. There's cool things you can do with the materials and Zeus and different things like that. But like obviously, Tri Brigade is just such a splash blow. There's no reason not to run the Tri Brigade stuff, especially because it's such a consistent deck. There's so much steam to it. Is it very good? No, but I think it topped somewhere randomly. I know I saw it top somewhere, so that's why it shot up, because it's a fan favorite. I mean, this card's nowhere near where it used to be, right? Will it ever reach this height again? Like I said, possibly, because it's not actually, because this is kind of what we're doing. We're doing the non-meta fun cards today. There are certain archetypes that aren't very good, like Altergeist, Salamangreat, Pendulum Magicians, that like aren't very good as far as like they're not tier 1, they're not as good as tier element, Sprite, Floowandereeze, but they were good at one point. And some people, maybe that was the best deck they've ever played with, you know what I mean? Like, and if you guys have been playing this game long enough, I'm sure there's been situations where you had a deck that you were running for a while and you weren't doing super good, and then there was that perfect moment where you had a deck that you played and you were really good with it, right? And it married together. For me, unfortunately, that was Domain Monarchs. But and Monarchs is another one of those decks that a lot of people are really, really hardcore Monarch fans, and you'll see their cards. I would assume that not a lot of these are very expensive, but you'll see their cards are Pantheons. No, okay. Pantheism's not super expensive. Return's kind of expensive, like $250, $3. And this archetype is garbage. Like, this archetype's absolutely terrible. Bird Up is really not. Like, Bird Up is actually a really solid archetype. And it's another one of those archetypes that your opponent would be like, oh, I forgot that this deck existed too if you bust it out on them at like a locals or a regional. I don't think, you're going to be winning any YCSs with Tri-Brigade Lyricist, but there's definitely a lot of possibility with this. And with all of that, right, that's a good reason why I say it is probably a good buy, right? Because it's that nostalgia. It's that, man, I remember when I first picked up this Bird Up archetype and I, got third at a regional, or I got 18th at a YCS or something like that with it, right? And this is definitely a card that I could see getting a reprint for sure, but also not. And like, this is just the random $10, $15 card in this archetype that you have to spend a decent amount of money on. I think, like, I'm trying to think of a good example of another archetype that has that. I don't think Salamangreat does. For a while, though, Ash Blossom was the card that Salamangreat runs. But sometimes it's Circle. Yeah, Circle's super cheap, though. Because it just got the reprint, yeah. For a while there, it was Circle. And I'm just looking up Salamangreat, not just because I like the archetype, but also because just trying to prove a point of, like, that there are some circumstances where these nostalgic archetypes will have that one random card that's super duper, relatively speaking, expensive. I don't think Salamangreat has that. Like I said, for a while it was Ash and Salamangreat's Circle. I think the most expensive card right now appears to be Spinny, though. Right, yeah. So Salamangreat Spinny. And obviously this is cheaper than Bird Up, so this wasn't the best example, right? But you guys kind of understand what I'm getting at. Basically, all I'm trying to say is this. This card has insane value because it's in an archetype that a lot of people like. It's in an archetype that's not very bad. And there's only one printing of it, right? As long as there's one printing of this card, it's going to be a relatively good buy if it's a penny stock. But let me know what you guys think. What are the cards under $5 that you were looking for? Let me know in those comments down below. Make sure you guys click that like button to show your support for the channel. Subscribe for even more content. But most importantly of all, have a good day.